Good morning, sunshine. It's me, Sonnei, and welcome back to the sunny side. I am very excited for today's episode. It's all about another drugstore brand. Today, we're going to get the London look with Rimmel. So I'm sure you've seen and or heard of Rimmel. They're in pretty much every drugstore, grocery store, etc. One thing that I've noticed about Rimmel's selection in stores is it's usually like a lot smaller than, say, CoverGirl or Maybelline, but I'm always drawn to it. They've got a lot of pretty stuff. I haven't actually looked on their website to see like what their full range is like. Maybe they just have a smaller selection. But today we're going to be trying the Stay Matte Primer, the Stay Matte Foundation. I used two because I mixed a shade to get closest to my face. The shade range is not incredible. They could certainly work on that. The Stay Matte Concealer, the Wonder Extension Mascara, the Stay Matte Liquid Lippy, Scandalize 24-Hour Eyeliner, and I have 3 of their 12-pan eyeshadow palettes in the shades that I thought were the most beautiful. So if you are dying to figure out what the London look even is, so am I. The finished product, nice and pigmented, colorful. So, was it easy to get here? Keep on watching to find out, babes. So I've already primed my eyelids. I actually used a N.Y.X HD Studio Photogenic primer because I could not find a Rimmel primer at the drugstore. So for this series, I really wanted to focus on like the accessibility of products. So I would just drive from Walgreens to Rite Aid to Fred Meyer's, just like going from store to store, trying to see if I could find these products in the stores because I didn't want to order everything online. Therefore, today's brand, Rimmel, I wasn't able to find as many products as I was for some of these other brands. Like, no blush that worked for me, no highlighter, no bronzer. So I grabbed a few of these eyeshadow palettes because they were on sale for $5 at Walgreens. They're the Magnifeyes collection. I've got Violet, Wow, Jewel Rocks. One of the things about drugstore eyeshadows that I've been noticing is there's like so many satin finishes and like not a whole lot of mattes. I ran into the same thing with Wet n Wild. I don't know why that is. Maybe satin finishes are easier to formulate. Maybe they think people like them more. I don't know. Without further ado, here we go. I'm going to be starting with the Wayne Goss number 18 brush. Pretty decent pigment so far. Now we're hopping over to the Electric Violet palette, and I'm gonna grab this matte purple shade that's in here with the Hey Shorty brush from Beauty Bay. I guess this color story is kind of similar to the Violet palette from Urban Decay. Not totally, but you know, you can see that it was probably inspired by that. I'm planning on doing kind of a angled eyeshadow look, sort of the emulated cat eye eyeshadow. I'm gonna cut this later. You can do Scotch tape. Because of the way my eye hood folds, I don't like to do Scotch tape because it doesn't give me a precise line. So I'll just make a line with concealer later. So I'm going to bring this purple shade out kind of far. This one is very pretty. In case you are curious about how I chose the color combination today, I was just using a little classic color theory. Yellow and purple are opposites, so therefore they are complementary. They look really lovely next to each other. All right, now the plan was to put on a blue lid. I have a few options. So there's a blue in each of these. And there's a blue in this palette, which I haven't touched this palette yet, but I don't know if I like this blue. Looks a little too dark. Actually, that might look really nice. I'm scared. Okay, I'm gonna do it. So I am gonna kind of go for a somewhat cut crease style eye. I don't necessarily do like a classic cut crease. I don't like it works super great with the way that my eyes are shaped and the hood and everything like that, but I do want there to be sort of a little bit more of a crisp edge for where I can throw on the blue. So I'm grabbing this Stay Matte Concealer from Rimmel, and I'm just gonna kind of sculpt out a little shape. I'm just using this cut crease brush to kind of pat that down. This is the Hide and Sleek brush from Beauty Bay. It's got that sort of cat tongue shape. It's flat. I think it'll be perfect to get into the inner corner. I'm gonna try going in just with a dry brush and see what kind of pigment I can get out of this. Maybe I'll wet the brush. That is nice and pigmented.
Very pretty.
Now I'm going to go on to the edges of where the blue goes and just put, oh my god, that made sense, right? The edges of the blue, and just put a little bit of concealer. Now we're going to hop back over to the Jewel Rocks palette and snag the gold on a medium sweeper brush. So I'm just going to bring this along the edge of the blue, but I'm not going to bring it all the way out to the purple because I have plans for that. The way this formula works is really surprising to me. Like, as I'm swiping the brush across it, it like doesn't really look like the brush is picking up that much, but then I go and put it on and it's definitely there. Just bringing that up into the yellow a bit. Jumping back over to the violet palette, this sort of satin blue purple shift color on another medium sweeper brush from Sigma. I always keep a few of these around because I use it so much. I don't want to have to keep like switching between colors. I'm just softening out the edge of where that concealer was and creating a little sheen between the purple and the gold. Now I have the Sigma Diffused Crease Brush, and I'm just going to go around and do a little blending and touching up before I throw in a brow bone and an inner corner color. Just little soft circular motions where the colors meet. So I picked this soft sort of golden sheen color to put right above that marigold, and then there's a nice soft purple from the violet palette that I'm going to grab. This is the Jewel Rocks palette again, and a Hey Shorty brush from Beauty Bay. I do want to wet the brush to give this a little bit more impact. The violet palette. Gonna grab that concealer and snatch the edges of this, relaxing my eyes. Starting at the very corner and just going out towards the tail of the brow. I have a makeup remover cloth. I'm just going to get that little bit of purple. All right, one last thing before I move on to the bottom part of the eyes. I'm going to go over to this violet palette, into that shimmery purple shade we were using over here, and just kind of bring the purple in just a touch more so that it meets with the corner of that blue lid shade. For the inner corner, I'm hopping over to the Wow palette. I'm going to grab this frosty shade. This is a V15 by BH Cosmetics. Definitely going to wet the brush. With the flat definer, E15 from Sigma Beauty. I'm going to go in with the same purple that's over here and just bring that over underneath the waterline just a touch. Then in that same palette, this pretty blue kind of shade, I'm going to put just a little tiny smudge in. I grabbed the Scandalize 24-hour wear waterproof gel pencil from Rimmel. First of all, I don't think you're supposed to wear makeup for 24 hours. Maybe that's just my opinion, but I don't know why anything would need to last that long. It's nice and creamy. I always put a little bit of liner on my hand, on the back of my hand, before I put it on, just to kind of like warm it up a bit. Just bringing that in about 3/4 of the way, and then I'm going to smudge it out a bit with a smudger brush. Now before I finish up right here, I'm just going to throw on some concealer. Alright, now I'm hopping back over to the Wow palette, to that frosty shade that we used in the inner corner, and I'm just going to bring it down and let it meet this eyeliner area on a number 7 flat shader brush from BH. I'm going back over to that custom foundation combo that I made. I'm just going to finish putting on foundation. as you can see, this isn't the perfect match for my skin, but they don't have a huge shade range. I just used True Ivory and Light Ivory. I think the Light Ivory has the pinkness that my skin needs, but this was a little too light, whereas this one is a little bit deeper, but it's got more of a peachy tone. So I think that it works pretty well. I mean, it's not terrible. I probably wouldn't wear this regularly, but it's okay. This foundation has a really nice finish. I mean, it's a matte foundation, so, you know, maybe that's not your flavor. It's got a really soft finish. It's got really nice coverage. It's like a mousse texture. Initially, I was a little bit off-put by the texture of it, to be honest with you. But it feels nice. I think it's really a beautiful foundation. We'll see how it holds up, but I mean, nothing can stand these forehead caverns of mine. So I'm going to throw on some blush and bronzer and what have you. None of those products that I have today are from Rimmel, unfortunately, so I'm not going to include that on camera, but we'll be back to finish up. So next I'm going to try out their mascara. This one is called Wonder Extension. This one is a brown black. And I really like the applicator tip. I like when they are kind of Christmas tree shaped almost. You get in the corners really easily with this. The shape of the bristles, or the way the bristles on this are spaced out, makes it so it applies to the lashes pretty evenly with like it separates the lashes. There's not a lot of clumping. It does, probably because it's the brown black, it's a little bit of like a softer mascara. It's not giving me like any sort of crazy big like lash extension sort of looks or anything like that, but it does look nice. I did get one lippy from Rimmel. This one is this part of their Stay Matte collection. I had a really hard time choosing. There was a really gorgeous like deep blue purple one, but when I was looking at it at the store, it looked like there was almost like an oily separation, and I just didn't feel like messing with that just in case. But this shade is called Midnight. It's like kind of a plummy shade. Ooh. So I wiped my lips dry with the dry makeup remover cloth, and we're just going to try that one more time. This smells like a holiday candle to me. Like spiced or waxy. So the lipstick takes a little work. It doesn't go on with like full-blown pigmentation initially, but it builds up nicely as far as I can tell. I do want to wait and see if it dries down. It is called Stay Matte, so I'm assuming this should have a mattifying like effect. So far that's not happening, but it's only been a few seconds. So I'm going to throw on some lashes and fix my hair a bit, and I'll be right back. But this is gorgeous. Good for you, Rimmel. So far, I mean, this is only the second video, but you know, I kind of struggled with Wet n Wild, although the finished product was beautiful. These were not a struggle. I mean, the color payoff was fantastic. The blendability was great. I mean, I've heard that purples are hard to formulate. I don't know where that came from. I hear that around. These worked great. No complaints. I mean, these I think are normally $7.99. I got them on sale for $5 each, but $8 for 12 shades. I mean, they've got a whole bunch of different shade options. I bought the ones that appealed most to me, but there's like a red toned one that kind of reminded me of Naked Cherry for Urban Decay. There's like full nude. There's a rainbow, which kind of seemed pastel-esque. But anyway, these are fabulous. As I finished out the face with the blush and bronzer and whatnot, I decided that the foundation actually worked great. So you can mix foundations as you saw me do. It's nothing I came up with, obviously, it's just a thing. But the Stay Matte formula is really, I didn't even set this with powder actually. It's really quite matte and nice looking. I didn't want to put powder on it and potentially have it end up looking cakey, but I'll probably set on the sides of my nose because they tend to get oily there. So overall, we tried the primer, which was fabulous. I actually use this one a lot. As you can see, it's been well used. This was the first Rimmel product I ever got. I saw somebody online saying it was great and I bought it, and I agree, it's fabulous. The Stay Matte foundations, love these, beautiful finish. I love the concealer. We'll see how it holds up, but I mean, great coverage. It worked really well for cutting out this like partial crease in my eye. Yeah, I like this a lot too. The lippy took some time to build up, but you know, once we got there, it dried down. It's not transferring at all. It's a beautiful color. And the eyeliner, so far, I'm blown away by this. My outer waterline never holds product. And I mean, I have Pat McGrath eyeliner, I have Wayne Goss eyeliner. I've tried a bunch of different types of liners, and some of them stay better than others, but generally this outer area of my eye, like, it just fades in the very corner. And kind of quickly at times. I'll usually set over it with like a similar shade of powder. And so far, this hasn't moved at all. And if that's the case, and if this stays, this may be my absolute new favorite eyeliner. The mascara, though I want to try the black version, I really like this. I love the brush. The little spikies on the brush are perfect for separating the lashes. It almost feels a little scary, like they're very pokey, so, you know, careful when you're putting that on. But, you know, obviously you don't want to poke your eye with any mascara wand, but this one, they feel extra spiky, so that's something to be wary of, or aware of, I should say. Another Rimmel product that I have lying around that I love are their Stay Glossy lip glosses. I'm not going to put it on because I want this to stay matte, but I have a bunch of these, and it's just a really good lip gloss formula. Super beautiful. The shimmery ones, they're nice and like velvety. It doesn't get sticky. Stays on for quite a while. Seven hours have passed, and this might be the best a foundation has held up on me, like, ever for that long. I did my physical therapy routine, I walked the dogs, I ate a tuna melt, I did laundry, watched some RuPaul's Drag Race and Schitt's Creek, and now here I am. Oh, and I've been editing the video so that I could just throw this on the end. But these lips have eaten a tuna melt. This lipstick, at first I was like, oh, this is taking so much work to build up, blah, 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 but you know what? I'd never had a lipstick survive a cheesy sandwich. Damn. Rimmel is clearly killing it. If their shade range on their foundation was a little better, that'd be awesome. But these products all held up really well. And, you know, drugstore pricing, so you can't beat that. Well, I think that's all that I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me. I can't wait to continue this series. It's been a lot of fun learning about these products, and hopefully, ultimately, this helps you save a little bit of money and find some things that you didn't know would be amazing. So, highly recommend you run out and grab these. Really gorgeous eyeshadows on the cheap. But I think my favorite thing today was probably the lipstick. Oh. How did I forget this? The eyeliner, this lasts a really long time. I'm almost concerned about having to wash it off. Anyhow, I hope you have an amazing weekend. Take care. Bye.
Goodbye.